This morning, when I was thinking of the day that I was going to have today, I felt really excited about having a chat with Rachel Brooks because one thing I know about Rachel, Rachel is as real as it comes. She just shares from the heart and she shares things that sometimes other people guard and not willing to talk about. And we're going to have a really great conversation. And I think now more than ever, we need to have more open conversations on the power that we all have, the power to wield our own minds and to be empowered. I think right now there's a lot of folks that want to take away your power. Now it's time for you to redefine it. And at the Success Takes Action Summit, Rachel does a phenomenal job of talking about how do we start redefining it. And she shares her own story of how she had to do it. And so a lot of times the reason why we need to redefine it because we start to feel the pain points. We're feeling exhausted. We're feeling burnt out. We're feeling like, is this all that there is? Like, do I really need to continue working on this? Or should I just go back and do what I've been doing before because it worked and it's not as stressful? But we're here to empower you and say, no, you need to stay in the fight. You need to go hard, but you need to do it in a way that's going to allow you to thrive, feel empowered, feel refreshed, and not feel burnt out. So with that being said, Rachel, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Felicia. This is incredible just to be here and be of service to your community. And when you came to me with this event, I said, oh my gosh, this is something that not only I am passionate about, but I know so many women that are just in need of this. They need to know that the works that we do are for intention, for purpose. And this is really the message that you have here is to help others do the same.
So with that being said, let's jump right in. Tell the audience just a little snippet about you, because I know you have an amazing book, The Confident Woman. And how did you get into this space where you're giving us so much wisdom from a place of confidence, but also from a holistic place?
Absolutely. So a couple years ago, I published my book titled Chasing Perfection, A Journey to Healing, Fitness, and Self-Love. And I'm also the host of the Confident Woman podcast that really led to the mission and the movement, which we have with the Confident Woman, and really geared towards equipping, educating, and empowering women with the tools, resources to create that lasting change. And I think for many of us, when we're on this journey of self-growth and self-discovery, it can feel very, very lonely. Although it's a personal journey, our whole motto is that you're not meant to do life alone. And so when we can walk in community, when we can walk with others that have been on the path or similar, we're all headed in that similar direction. And it's just important to really know that you're supported and having the right tools and everything that you need to get to that next level. So this, again, is that personal journey, but it's a collective voice and journey together.
Now, I love the fact that you talked about it's a journey. And one thing with a journey, sometimes we think we need to be further along on that journey and we wait to express gratitude or to be excited or to just get energized. Like when I get to this goal, then I'm going to just get, when we win this, guess what? Then everything is going to be okay. But the reality is that there's pains along the way. Sometimes there's going to be blocks that's going to stop you from getting to where you want to get to. And it's how you are nourishing yourself and how you are taking care of yourself as you go along. That's what's going to define success, because you may get there and it may be blocked. So what do? Do we just drop the ball, or do we pivot, or do we be the water that finds the crack, and do we find a way through and come back even stronger? I think that's what we're going to talk about today. So one thing that I heard some folks share is the heavy of emotions. They're feeling very emotional and they're feeling like all the things that they define for themselves is starting to move, being pulled away from them. So what would be some strategies or tips you would share if someone is feeling like it's heavy emotions? What do I do at this point? And should I just continue going, or should I just, sit to the side?
Well, I love this question because I think we hear a lot about pivoting. And I'm going to, before we start talking about pivoting, I'm going to encourage everyone to do this one thing: pause. When we can pause, everything else just becomes still. And we can start to quiet that outside voice, that outside world, the outside, right? Because everything out there is what is pulling on to our heart and our soul. It's filling us. And so when we're feeling overwhelmed, when we're feeling emotionally heavy, when we're feeling so much, it's usually because our inner world and our outer world are misaligned. And so when we could pause, all of a sudden, everything internally, we start to sort through and process, and the world becomes a lot quieter. Our inner world becomes more quiet. and you can start to see what it is we're actually after.
Mm.
And I
And
think go ahead. No, it's
no,
just
no, I love that you mentioned pause because I had to do that yesterday.
yeah.
Rachel, I had to clear my calendar, my coaching calls, and I just had to take a moment to just breathe a little bit, go for a walk and take care of myself in order to quiet the noise, in
Mhm.
order to get back center and get back whole. So I so love that you just share that with the audience.
Yeah, it's such a powerful tool and technique that we tend to miss because we are go-getting women, we are high achievers, and anything that incorporates pause, rest, step back, it feels
Mhm.
like, wait, that's not who I am. That's not the identity of who I align with. And so it's such a powerful tool that I think that it's needed to add into your tool belt, but don't look at it as a sign of weakness or that you're giving up. We
Mhm.
all need rest. We all need to recover. And the beautiful thing is that when we give the gift of pause, we
Mhm.
are appreciative of the moments. And when it brings us back to today in the present moment. And when we're in the present moment, that's where all the joy, the gratitude, the inspiration, the hope, the encouragement, the love, the compassion, the empathy, all the things that we externally are looking for or seeking
Mhm.
now come back full circle to us. So we don't need to chase outside. We just need to preserve and protect our inner world for that peace so that the external world, no matter what happens, will always not meet our expectation, will always not make the hope and desires that we want. It's just inevitable because it's easier to control one person, us, than the mass millions and billions of people that are out there in the world. And so we have to protect and guard our heart no matter what.
No, I think what you're talking about is so powerful because the other thing that happens when you pause, it brings you into a place of gratitude, especially if you take a moment and you spend in nature and you spend outside yourself or you spend giving to others, you realize, wow, there's so many other folks that are in similar paths that may be struggling even more, but I get to be here. And then the other part that centers is every time I take a breath, I'm here, I'm living. So my purpose gets to continue versus looking at it that is the end. No, it's just the beginning. Every single day, I get to do this. Every day I can wake up and my eyes open, I get to move forward, and someone else may not have to. So I have to be in gratitude there. So, one other point that you brought in about the outer and inner world that is the importance of setting boundaries. And I think more than ever, we need to, when we look at redefining success, and we'll talk about that at Success Takes Action, we'll go deeper into the formula there. But when you think about boundary setting, let's talk about that piece there, because a lot of us are letting others set boundaries or get into our boundaries, and we're not protecting ourselves. And then we end up having all the noise, all their stresses come on us. And then we're stagnant, trying to carry the weight of the world when we
Right.
can set some clear boundaries.
Right. And I think that goes back again to that pause because when we could pause, we could start looking at, well, what is important to me? Okay, maybe I need to take a time out. Maybe I need to just put my phone on silence. Maybe I need to cancel some meetings. Maybe I need, and so all these maybes will come up. But what I like to do in my pause is all these thoughts will come rushing through my mind. But the
Mhm,
beautiful thing is that you don't have to act on any of them. You're
mhm,
just letting them pass through like clouds. And in
mhm,
that stillness and that quietness, some call it meditation, some call it stillness, whatever that mindfulness practice is for you. But you're realizing that all these mass thoughts that are coming through, just let them pass at the pace they need to go. They'll start to slow down. And when they slow down, you can filter out what is important. And so those are those boundaries. Those are the non-negotiables. Those are the things that you can start saying yes to, more of what brings you peace, more of what brings you joy, more of what lights you up. And when I talk about lighting up, and I'll talk about this too as well when we talk about purpose and passion, but the things that light you up, where I believe that passion is in the intersection of the things that light you up or the things that piss you off.
yeah, great.
And that's where that energy, where you want to fuel, but think and be mindful of the what we're fueling. Is it from a place of anger, from bitterness, resentment? Like, right, we're angry, we're feeling a lot of things, but is it from a place of compassion and empathy and saying, you know what, we have no control over what happens out there. What can I do to protect and preserve? How can I make other people feel empowered? How can I help bring this experience and these feelings to others as well? So the gifts that we give ourselves is what we can give away. And you brought up
Mhm,
that point about being grateful for each day, right? Because we're not promised tomorrow. We are blessed that we woke up today. And no matter what's happening in this world, somebody has it worse off than you.
Absolutely.
And that's the gratitude, because not everybody gets to live to see another day. Being grateful brings you to the present. The present has that power, the power that we can surrender and let go of anything else that's beyond our control. And the only thing that we have control over is how we react or respond and the choices that we make. And that's the power that's within all of us.
Yeah, we have that power. And when you think about it from a boundary perspective, every time you say no to something that is draining you, something that is disempowering to you, you are saying yes to yourself. You are empowering yourself to continue with that momentum that you have going forward. And then the last area I think is important for just for us, everyone, I know you guys know this. Sometimes we don't even take the time to recognize how far we've come.
Mm-hmm.
And all the wins we've had along the way. So let's talk a little about that. Taking a moment today and just being in a place of gratitude and celebrating how far you've come. Even if you look back and you say, I haven't come far, if you come an inch forward, you're moving forward. If you made awareness and you got your cause out there, or you got your people just to understand what your company is all about, you're making progress. So let's talk about that a little bit, about the importance of really celebrating the process and celebrating as you go along. I can't say that enough, man.
Oh, so true. And listen, I'm a recovering perfectionist. We operate in absolutes, all or nothing, black or white. We're just, we want to go in and we want to know that we're making it big right away. And one of the greatest things, and you'll hear it, obviously out there in the personal growth space as well, is that we focus on progress, not perfection. And that's so hard for somebody who is a high achiever, because we don't want progress. We want results, and we want them yesterday.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard. And so again, the pause, the gratitude allows us now to say, okay, what did I do today different than I did yesterday? And what did I do yesterday that was different than the week before? And you could just ask yourself these simple questions, because growth is so small. For us to really appreciate the macro moments in life, we have to give thanks and gratitude and appreciate those micro moments. And those micro moments are all those little steps along the way. We might not feel like we're moving. And one of my favorite quotes is by C.S. Lewis, and he says, day by day, nothing changes. But when you look back, nothing was the same.
Amen. Good.
How true is that, right? So we're not the same person we were last month, last year, 5 years, 10 years ago. And we're not going to be the same person today that we are 3, 5, 10 years from now. So it's in these daily choices every day that we wake up, give thanks, and do the things that matter most. And it's not about what's out there. It's not about letting the outside world interrupt our inner world. We have so many distractions. We have so many people and ideas and responsibilities, just so much that is pressed on us for demands. And at what cost is it going to really cost you? And that was a huge lesson I had to learn. I was basically paying the price to prove my worth. At what cost? Well, my mental, my emotional, my physical, and my overall health and well-being. So I challenge those that are in a situation or in a position right now when we're trying so hard to make our outside world different than what is internally. But those two differences won't align unless we get clear on what it is that we want, but more importantly, who we are. And so I believe that when we talk about success is aligned action. It comes down to your identity, your values, and your beliefs. And those are the things that for yourself to know, you have to spend that quality time with yourself, those check-ins, those progress movers, taking pause, giving thanks, because then everything else just becomes noise, and you can discern that's noise. This is my reality. This is what I'm working for. This is who I'm working towards and who I'm working for. And those are the powerful decisions that we can reclaim and start making little changes every day that'll move us closer to where we want to be.
And so those little changes we make every day is what's really going to move us, like you mentioned, to where we want to be. So as you're listening to us and you're thinking about how you're feeling right now, just the first thing I would say is honor your feelings. Emotions are meant to be felt. It's just like the waves in the ocean, they'll come and they'll go. But remember the part, they'll come and they'll go. So if we're sitting in that emotion, ask yourself, is this truly serving me right now? Is it moving me towards the vision I have? Is it moving me towards that calling I have? And if it's not, then that's an opportunity for you to empower yourself to say, okay, what's the next best intentional, aligned action that I can take?
Mm-hmm.
And be authentic with myself. Great. And this is what it is. And start doing the little steps there and know that we're all on this journey together. So tell the audience, why should they go ahead, drop what they're doing right now and get a ticket to Success Takes Action and join us on the 12th of November?
Absolutely. Well, because this is going to be jam-packed with experiences, stories, strategies, tools, tips, everything that you need to really set yourself up for success. But I don't want to give a spoiler alert, but I'm going to preface this that everything you need is found within.
Amen.
And that is what all
Yes.
of these speakers are going to empower you to do. We're not trying to add more to your plate. We're not trying to stack that up anymore. That, no matter what, I mean, we're barely hanging on by a thread, to be honest. It's just the reality of who we are, right? We're women. We're at max capacity. Then the world tells us things. Then this happens, right? So we're just over here barely hanging on by a thread. I always have this analogy. I've got this overstacked plates on both hands and I got people pulling at me and it's just like something's got to give, right? But that's up to you. You got to sometimes just set things down. You can pick them up later.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter how long they sit there. What matters is the preservation of your health and well-being.
You are your most number one asset, and you need to take care of yourself. And this eventually is going to be focused on helping you do just that on your journey. So I can't wait for everyone to join us. It kicks off on Tuesday, the 12th. And goes till the 15th, and it's 100% virtual, 100% free, 100% packed with value. If you love what Rachel Brooks just shared with you here, then what are you waiting for? Go ahead, grab your ticket. You can find it anywhere that you're watching this video, or you can DM us on any one of the platforms, Success, and we'll send you everything you need. But we look forward to seeing you on the inside.
Thank you.